When are we going to eat, Mum?
Later,
Now
Papa.
then, you two. Your auntie didn't come here to listen to you. She came here to see the sights, didn't you?
Sights? Millhampton is rather small for sights. What's the population?
2,543.
Got a mind like a whip, that boy, ain't he?
I've had it.
You're quitting on me now, are you? Oh, you're out of condition. It's that sedentary life you lead.
Well, it's a case of quit or die. Oh, I haven't had this much exercise in weeks.
For years.
You know, I resent you. You're not even out of breath.
Just remember, I've had 5 long years to get used to it.
True.
Look at the loonies. See that one with the axe? Don't they look funny up there?
I could get a better picture of those 2 criminals if this fence weren't in my way.
Well, that's Will Smith, his wife, and their 2 children. I don't know who that heavily armed old battle axe is. Smith, he owns a meat shop. He's a devoted family man. Lives in a nice home. They're good people.
Auntie! This is what happens to the loonies when they try to escape.
Terrible faces those 2 men have. Hardly human. That's right.
Yeah, it's fascinating how much you know about the people of Millhampton.
It's rather appalling of me, isn't it? Spying on my neighbors and all that sort of thing. I believe I'll be an impossible old man if I keep on.
Well, how do I look? Like an up-and-coming bright psychiatrist? Good enough to impress the members of the board?
Do you think they'll listen to you? Really listen?
I'm optimistic, Alex. All I have to do is convince them that you're as sane as they are. So, now that the moment has come, I wish I were old, dignified, with a lifetime of experience behind me.
Oh, now, don't you get cold feet. I have them. You just bear in mind, Dr. Fleming, that I believe in you as much as you believe in me.
I'll do my best. Oh, Alex. Wish me luck.
No one has asked me to wish them luck in a good many years. I believe they think that a murderer doesn't have any luck to offer. Thank you.
Hey, where are you going with them axes?
Well, I was going to take them back into the tool shed.
All right, then. Suppose we both check them in.
Alex Forrester was accused of the brutal murder of his wife, was adjudged insane.
Forrester's lawyer pleaded insanity because he knew it was the only way to save the man's neck.
I remember the case quite well. I thought how odd it is that a man coming from such a fine family could slit his wife's throat. Damned odd. Damned odd.
Quite, Dr. Offord. Insanity was the plea, Dr. Upjohn, and certainly when Forrester was admitted here, he was very disturbed.
Disturbed? Now, there's an interesting word to describe a man who's cut his wife's throat and left her to bleed to death in a bathtub.
Forrester has been Dr. Fleming's patient for some time. I would like him to give you his assessment.
Gentlemen, in addition to the usual psychiatric sessions with Forrester, I've had the opportunity to observe him almost every day. And in my opinion, his present mental state is excellent.
Well, I think there is something you gentlemen are all forgetting. May I remind you of that model patient they paroled at Marshbank 6 weeks ago?
That was unfortunate, Dr. Upjohn.
Unfortunate. He killed a farmer and his wife.
Forrester has shown no sign of violence during the 5 years he's been here.
But, Dr. Fleming, We do know that Forrester was believed to have perpetrated an act of violence. If this board grants him a new sanity hearing, he might be set free.
Exactly, Dr. Graham. And I think that Forrester should be given an opportunity to prove his sanity. And I do not think that we, as doctors, should allow ourselves to believe that any patient committed to our care cannot be rehabilitated, can never recover his sanity. As some of our older attendants are reluctant to recognize these patients as human beings. Can we, as doctors, show this reluctance? I say that we cannot. And I say that at this moment, Alex Forrester is as sane as any man in this room.
You're quite an orator, Dr. Fleming. But you haven't swept me off my feet.
Dr. Fleming, granted that what you tell us is true, that Forrester is now sane, can you also assure us he will not regress?
I don't think he will.
Mark, psychiatrists sometimes become too involved with a particular patient. When this happens, they can no longer view the patient impartially.
I'm aware of that danger, Dr. Graham.
Then, Dr. Fleming, are you certain about Alex Forrester? Beyond a doubt.
I'm not certain beyond a doubt about anyone. Not about you, or Dr. Upjohn, or even about myself. We have a duty to restore these people to society.
Mark, are you absolutely 100% certain?
No.
Good day, gentlemen.
I've been deciding which house I'd like to live in.
No? And have you decided?
Yes. I'll take that house with the pleasant little garden that I chose a few years ago.
Nice. Right in the center of things. Well, what about the Thomas house? You always liked that so much.
The Thomas house versus the village house. Houses and gardens. What happened at the board meeting?
Alex, these meetings are so seldom definitive.
What was the result, Dr. Fleming?
They wanted proof of your sanity, Alex.
The good people of Millhampton. Are they sane? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they drove out here today to see the lunatics. Why? Do they like to look at the hopeless? Does it make them feel superior? Do they get a good laugh looking through the bars? Are they sane? Well, who is sane, Dr. Fleming?
I don't know. Of the thousands of people who pass through our lives, hundreds may be insane. But we'll never know. They'll never have to prove it because they're outside.
What a terrible way to live out the one life I have. Shut up. Shut off. Forever lost.
What can I say to you? Do you know under what ridiculous laws I must operate? Your legal rights are covered in the Lunacy Act, full of lunacies itself. You may be released at Her Majesty's pleasure. Her Majesty referred to in the Lunacy Act as Queen Victoria. It's that old. If you escaped and were not caught for 14 days, you'd be entitled to a new trial. Why, it's ludicrous.
I think I'll feel better, Doctor, if I'm left alone for a while.
Right. I'll see you later.
don't seem to be in the mood for any music today.
Let's go up to your room. I'm off at 9 o'clock, but there's time for a short talk.
Carruthers, is this Carruthers?
Good night, Doctor.
Yes, good night, Bert.
How can I dog his place with that blasted overhead light shining in the eye?
I don't wonder you're tired. It's been one hell of a day. And to make things perfect, the fog is rolling in.
Yes, it's all true what they say about the English fog, isn't it?
That's all right, Doctor. Sorry, chaps, the concert's over. It's 9 o'clock. Harry, take charge, will you? Dr. Fleming!
It's the only thing to do. I'm going after him. Reg, you come with me.
Mark, he almost killed you.
I know. But if he'll listen to anyone, he'll listen to me.
Dutch, I'll be in my office in a moment.
If a search party of farmers runs across him, Forrester may be shot. We don't want that.
No, we don't.
Reg, come on.
Come on. There's a good boy. Come on. So we can get inside.
Nelson! Sergeant Nelson! Nelson! Sergeant
Something else.
I say, Constable, what's happening?
Keep that dog down, would you please, madam?
Well, I'm sorry, but we don't know what's happening.
Is it a lunatic?
No, we don't know whether he's a sex offender or not, sir.
Don't we get any police protection over here?
Miserable swine. Serves them right if it's another murder.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, we shall know what's... Keep that dog in order, ma'am. We shall know what's happening when I've been to the station. Constable, come back.
You were my husband.
No, ma'am.
Well, come on in, please. It's damp out there. You don't feel it, but I do in this. You'll just have to forgive me. I was trying on some bathing suits that I was going to model at the bazaar.
May I?
Thank you.
I'm Police Constable Rogers.
Oh, well, how do you do?
I was hoping Mr. Thomas would be home.
Oh, well, I'm expecting him any minute. He's been in Amsterdam. He's due in on the plane that lands at Gatwick.
I see.
Oh, dear. I can just see the look on Evan's face now when he finds out that I have received an officer of the law clad in a bathing suit.
Someone's escaped from the institution, ma'am.
Oh, that's why I heard the sirens.
Superintendent Bickley thought we'd best check on the more isolated houses.
Well, that's a very good idea, yes.
So, may I?
By all means. Shall I show you around?
Thank you.
Of course, I've been here since about 4 o'clock, and I don't think I've heard anything unusual. But then, you know, I didn't even hear you until you rang the bell. Good Lord, I suppose there could have been a dozen maniacs stomping around the place, and I wouldn't even have heard them.
Oh, I hardly think that would be possible, madam. Now, I think we'll take a look in the kitchen first and check on the upstairs afterwards.
Oh, that's fine. Good.
Listen, that ruddy fool Jenkins has turned loose his hounds.
That'll make Forrest a panic for certain.
I think we better separate. Keep your ears open as well as your eyes.
Well, nobody under the beds, anyway.
Oh, well, I'm glad of that. I was wondering if I should meet my husband at the station. He usually takes a shortcut through the woods.
I don't think that's necessary, Mrs. Thomas. We should be picking Forrester up any time now.
Forrester, is that his name? Poor soul.
Now, don't waste your pity, ma'am.
I don't know how to thank you, officer.
I should fasten the chain on the door. Good night, ma'am. That wheel seems to be stopping. I'd better take a look.
Oh, Well, it's an antiquated old thing.
Well, better be safe than sorry, ma'am.
You've made me feel very safe, Constable. Good night.
Good night, Mrs. Thomas.
Stay where you are! Turn around. I said turn around. No, I'm not mad, but I am desperate. Now you do what I say. What's beyond that door?
Kitchen.
Well, open it. Move! That door.
Goes to the garden. It's locked. Constable Rogers locked it, and he locked all the windows, too.
All right, move. I want your husband's gun.
Hasn't got one.
Now, I want that gun.
It's in the chest over there.
Suppose I tell you about your husband. Age 53. Diamond merchant. Recreation's only one. Hunting. Rabbits. I've even heard some of the shooting. At haymaking time, the criminal lunatics can hear that fine, sane Evan Thomas out in the long meadow slaughtering rabbits by the dozen.
Rabbits are vermin. My husband will be home any minute.
Tomorrow night.
No, tonight.
Usually gets back Saturday.
How did you know that?
You were to be alone. Now I'll have to.
What will you have to do?
I'll do whatever I have to anyone who tries to stop me.
You mean you'd hurt someone you don't even know? Mr. Forrester, you told me you weren't mad. Please, please prove it. Turn yourself in before you commit another...
Murder? This room. It looks like you.
What is like me?
I don't know yet.
Whoever it is, you get rid of him. Second you move it on my sight, I'll use his gun.
Who is it?
I'm Dr. Mark Fleming, Mrs. Thomas.
Dr. Fleming?
Yes, from up on the hill.
Oh, yes, of course. Come in, won't you?
Thank you. My identification. This man, Forrester, Mrs. Thomas. He was one of my patients.
Oh? Won't you come in? The police were here and they told me about his escape.
I don't know if you realize that the village can be seen quite clearly from certain rooms in the institution. For a while, he was quite curious about this place. Its isolation, well, there's just a chance he may try to come here.
Well, my husband will be here any minute, and I'm sure I'll be perfectly all right. He's flying in.
Flying? Well, I hope he's not held up. It's rather foggy.
Oh, I hope not, too.
Well, I'll be off, Mrs. Thomas.
Doctor, when the police were here, they seemed to think that this man might be dangerous. You're his doctor. What do you think?
This morning, I would have said not at all dangerous. But now that he's escaped, I just don't know.
I see.
If you hear any unusual noises around the house, please let us know as well as the police. I'd like to help Forrester in any way I can.
Of course.
Do you have the institution number?
No, but I'll write it down. What is it?
It's Millhampton 346.
Here, have it.
Right. Well, I'm so sorry to have troubled you.
Oh, not at all. Thank you.
Good night, Mrs. Thomas.
Good night.
What airline does your husband take?
KLM?
What time was it due?
8. London or Gatwick?
Call the airport. Find out what time it landed.
Hello, could you get me Gatwick Airport, please?
Gatwick Airport?
Could you tell me if your KLM flight from Amsterdam that was due at 8 o'clock was on time?
I'm sorry. No KLM flight from Amsterdam was due at Gatwick or London at 8. The flight from Amsterdam due in at 6 o'clock landed on time. The last flight due in at 9 was 15 minutes late.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I must have misunderstood Evan when he told me. See, I was in the kitchen and then he called me from the hall. Well, anyone can make a mistake. It's perfectly natural. All right. If he'd been on that 6 o'clock plane, he would have been home by 10 o'clock. When he wasn't, I knew he must have taken the later plane. Do you think I'm gonna say that to a madman? Well, what are you gonna do about it? You gonna shoot me with that gun? You gonna stab me with a scissors? You gonna hit me? Tell me something, madman. Was it a man or a woman you killed?
It was a woman. She was my wife. I've seen that look you have now on many other faces.
I've never heard anyone confess that they'd killed before.
Well, I'm not sure I killed her or not. Well, I was alone in the house with her. My bloody fingerprints were all over her.
Did you hate her?
No. I loved her very much.
What kind of a woman was she? Was she like me?
No. She was different.
Why don't you know whether you killed her?
Because I had no reason to kill her. She had no reason to kill herself. I came home late that night. She was in the bathroom and the water was running. I called to her. No, she didn't answer. I think I broke the door in. And I found her lying there in the tub. With her throat cut wide. Wide open. I don't remember anything after that.
You don't know whether or not you killed then. How can you be sure you won't kill someone again and not remember?
Because I know I'm sane now. If I'm not caught in 14 days, I'll have a chance to prove it.
Why 14 days?
Well, that's the law, and I'm going to take advantage of it because I am sane.
But this escape, this running away, breaking into my house, is that sane?
It's right for me.
So was murder.
Well, I hope you'll never know what it's like to live with criminal lunatics. Because it's like living with very dangerous, very stupid children. They live in some sort of a pit, and after a while, you think that you might slip into it. And if that happens, well, you're lost forever.
But isn't it insanity to think that you can hide out in my house for 2 weeks?
But if I'm not caught by tomorrow, they'll assume I must have got through earlier. And they'll spread out and cover the countryside, and that's when I'll leave. Until then, I'm staying here.
Well, there's nothing I can do about it, is there? The house is yours. Now, if you will excuse me.
You'll have to sleep here, so that I can keep an eye on you and the doors.
I'll be back in a moment.
Is there a phone here?
No, no phone.
Five years ago, I could have told you exactly what perfume you used.
There's only one thing that people want to understand, and that is, where were the police? Suppose someone's 10-year-old child has just been strangled to death by some killer. Their child is dead. We're the police. We're to blame.
Take a man, good to his children, devoted to his wife. One day he goes berserk and wipes out his entire family. Can we call him a criminal without trying to find out the reason why?
When I was sworn in, I took an oath to protect the safety and the security of the people. That's what I was sworn to do, and that's what I'm going to do against all criminals, sane or insane.
I understand that, Bickley.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Oh, sir. Will Smith here found this coat.
Found it by the stream, Inspector. You know, right where the old wood road comes in.
Really? Any idea who it belongs to?
Well, we can't be sure, sir, but the escaped man was described as wearing a coat like this one.
That's Dr. Fleming's coat, the one Forrester took from him.
Search the area again, immediately.
Got it, sir.
I wonder where Forrester is now. Probably hiding in the swamp, soaking wet, poor devil.
Sometimes I stand here and I watch that wheel for hours. After a while, I feel as though I almost become a part of the wheel. I can feel myself going around and around and around. Everything else shuts out, and it's just me and the wheel.
This house does look like you. It's soft and elegant. That wheel turning right in the middle of it. What's it like to be you? To live in this house with that wheel day in and day out?
Once I thought interesting people were going to come here. We were going to have witty and exciting conversations. I was going to have a salon. A salon in Millhampton. Might as well try to have one in Borneo.
Well, even without all that, you've got the whole world right here. Things won't get much better than they are now.
I thought marrying Evan was going to change my whole life. He was going to make me into that kind of girl that I always wanted to be. With beautiful clothes and an exciting life. And I was going to be loved.
And aren't you?
Evan would love any wife. If it hadn't been me, it wouldn't have made any difference. It's having a wife that Evan loves. It's cold up here.
The coat's about 2 miles from here, Constable.
Right. Now, we'll cover this area here, then we'll proceed downstream, keeping about 50 yards apart.
With his throat slit.
Alex, stop it. Stop it. I'll get you some brandy.
No, I saw it there. Gashed from ear to ear. There, the mill wheel.
Alex, it's empty. There's nothing on it.
I blacked out. For how long?
Just a minute. I woke up as soon as I heard you fall.
Did you? Or did you let me lie there until you phoned the police?
Alec, that's crazy. This is a nightmare. It's something you dreamed. It isn't real.
Where's your husband?
all right. In a minute. Good. Rogers! Rogers!
My husband will be home in the morning.
Unless he is dead.
Alex, stop saying that. Are you saying that because you killed him?
How could I have killed him? I've been here with you.
You weren't here at 6 o'clock. Alex, did he come home at 6? Did you meet him in the woods? Did he try to stop you?
Don't you understand? I was escaping from that place. I had all I could do to... What? I was running through the woods and I ran right into a tree.
Were you unconscious? The way you were when you killed before? Don't you remember, Alex?
Well, I know he's dead, and I know his throat's been cut. As to when, can't say exactly. He's been in the water, you know. Offhand, 9, 10 hours. That's just an educated guess, of course. Any idea who he is?
A very good idea.
Somebody reported missing?
The only man reported missing is that homicidal lunatic from up on the hill. Too bad he isn't the one under the blanket. All right, take him to the mortuary.
It's your husband, Mrs. Thomas. There's been an accident.
You mean he's been hurt? Was it his plane?
No, nothing like that. The police have found the body of a man. They're fairly certain it's your husband. There may be some connection between what happened to your husband and Forrester's escape. We want you to come with us, Mrs. Thomas, to confirm the identification. I'm very sorry.
I have to change.
Mort! I saw the police car out front. The village is buzzing with the news. Poor Mr. Thomas. The last person in the world that would want to be found in his birthday suit.
Well, Daphne...
Neat he was.
Mrs.
Barnes.
How do you do? Inspector Bickley.
Oh, Jeff Bickley. I know who you are.
Have you enjoyed your situation here?
Oh, it's been lovely. When I first came, the poor lady was a bit lonely, but she cheered up in the last year or so. It was a pleasure to hear her laugh. No more.
And Mr. Thomas?
Terrible to think of him being murdered by a lunatic.
Hello, Mrs. Barnes. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, my word. Now, don't you worry about a thing. Oh, Mildred? This is Daphne here. Well, She's gone to identify the corpse. Mort Rogers and a couple of head shrinkers from the loony bin took her.
Was she absolutely hysterical?
No, pretty cool, I'd say. Remember the time they came to tell me that my George had got his foot caught in the thrasher?
How could I ever forget it?
Well, I must have screamed for 2 hours.
It was a good 3 hours.
3 hours? Well, any normal woman would.
You mean she didn't cry at all?
Not a tear. And Mildred? She slept downstairs on the couch again.
Take him long to die?
Not long, Mrs. Thomas.
Not long to look like that?
Will Mrs. Barnes still be there when you get home, Mrs. Thomas? Rogers, see Mrs. Thomas home?
Yes, sir.
My God, she's shocked. You read about things like this in the papers, but when you actually see such inconceivable brutality, how does anyone survive?
One morning, just as the sun was rising, I heard a maid sing in the valley below. Oh, don't deceive me.
Won't be bothered now, Mrs. Thomas. Ellis is a good man, and he'll be staying out front.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There, that's right. That's better. It's been a terrible day for you. I know what these things are like. You saw the deceased, ma'am. I opened a tin of tongue and made a few sandwiches for all the people that'll be dropping in and out.
People?
Well, when there's been a death, friends always drop by for a bite to eat and a hot drink and pay their respects.
I don't know anything about death.
Oh, I've seen many burials. You'll be calling on Mr. Beasley's establishment to make the arrangements. He has a very nice selection. Good, solid oak with brass handles from £12.6 up to...
Mrs. Barnes, have you done the upstairs?
Oh, yes, ma'am. And downstairs, except for washing up a few things.
Then never mind about that. I think I'd like something to do.
I understand, ma'am. Well, if you're sure you'll be all right alone. All right.
Apart from old Daphne Barnes in there, I don't think there's another soul to take care of Mrs. Thomas.
If I see any newspaper reporters snooping about, I'll give them the quick run-up.
Good. I'll send someone down about 5 o'clock to relieve you for supper.
Fair enough.
I don't like leaving you like this. But there are times when nobody can help. Good day, ma'am.
Alex? 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 Come in, won't you?
Dear Mrs. Thomas, I'd have come the moment I heard, but there was a little confusion in the alto section of the choir practice.
It's very good of you to come at all.
When I heard the dreadful news, I thought what to do. Death must come to all of us, leaving dear ones to grieve. But this, so great a shock.
I couldn't believe it myself. I felt that I just wanted to be alone.
Mind the little step. Ah, but you mustn't be alone. No, you mustn't be alone here. And you need more than casual friends around you. You need a mother.
Your mother, Vicar?
Unfortunately, no. No, her name is Mrs. Broom, and I've known her ever since I was a boy. This dear soul has weathered the storms of years, and when I'm troubled, I turn to her. I know that much of the time I serve God poorly, but today he guided me, and I'm sure in my heart that this is right. I'm going to leave this dear lady here with you.
Vicar, I don't need any help.
No. It's all settled. Well, I must be off to Throxton to visit the bishop, my annual visit, and I daren't keep him waiting. Oh, dear. I was so sure this was right. Mrs. Broom's son isn't coming to take her away till tomorrow.
Found my husband's body.
Where?
You said you saw a dead man on the mill wheel,
I did see a dead man.
but not on the wheel. They found him where you killed him. In the woods.
I didn't kill him.
That body on the wheel was an hallucination.
Why didn't you tell the police that? You had a chance.
And admit I'd hidden my husband's murderer?
And held that murderer in your arms.
That was before I knew.
You believe that I murdered your husband? Then take your revenge and kill me.
No, I'm not a murderer. You are. And I'm not mad. You are. And as sure as you're standing there breathing, you're going to die for what you did.
How will you explain that you've hid an insane murderer all through the long night and into the day? And even after you've seen your husband's dead body?
Get out! I can't stand the sight of you! It made me look at Evan. Lying there. Oh, God.
Oh, Molly, don't. Don't cry. It'll be night soon, and then I'll be gone.
Don't touch! Did you say good evening to my husband? Did you ask him for something simple like a match? Was he lighting it for you when he looked up and he saw you were going to kill him?
I believe you. I could have done those things. And if I could, well, I might kill you the same way. I've got to go. Now.
Alex!
Molly, in the last 24 hours, you and I have gotten to know each other like very few people ever do in a lifetime. I'll never be free of you. You'll always be with me. But I must leave.
Yes.
Will you help me?
Yes. Hide upstairs.
Mr. Thomas, we're sorry to bother you again, but we don't feel it's possible for Forrester to have got clear away. We feel that he must still be here within a 10-mile radius of Millhampton. It means another search. All houses.
Why are the police so certain it was Forrester? Suppose it had been someone else.
The coincidence of escape and murder is a little overwhelming, Mrs. Thomas.
Well, come in. I certainly don't want to stand in the way of whatever has to be done, but... Well, Constable Rogers searched the entire house and...
It's for your own protection, Mrs. Thomas. We're all doing as Inspector Bickley suggests. This is Forrester's.
Forrester's?
He's here.
Here? Where?
He's upstairs in the storeroom.
Rogers?
No, please. Please, he's armed. He has my husband's gun. You see, that's why I hesitated at the doorway. He came in and he got some of my husband's clothes and put them on, and then when the doorbell rang, he ran upstairs.
Alex! Alex! The police are here. Come down. Alex, you must listen to me. I was wrong about you. We were both wrong. You're a sick man, Alex. You need help. Alex, it's all over. The police are surrounding the house. It's hopeless. I'm your doctor and your friend. Trust me. I won't desert you now. Come down.
How did you get here? Who called the police?
It doesn't matter. It's all for the best.
It matters to me.
It's over. No one's going to hurt you. Give me the gun.
Just a minute. Who called the police? Who knew?
Forrester, we have your clothes here. We're taking you in.
You have to give up, Alex, and come with us.
Give me the gun, Alex.
Molly, did you do this to me?
Mrs. Thomas, will you tell us the rest that happened?
After the vicar left a while ago, I was on my way upstairs to lie down, and suddenly he appeared out of the storeroom.
That's not true. Molly, that's not true. What are you saying that for?
Do you know how long he'd been there?
No, I don't. His face was scratched, and he had dirt on his clothes and dried blood on his hands.
Then he could have been hiding there all night.
I was here all night.
Rogers.
Alex, don't make things any worse for yourself.
All right, go on, Mrs. Thomas.
I'd seen what he'd done to my husband, and I was afraid he'd do the same thing to me.
That's all, Mrs. Thomas. Thank you. Forrester, you'll be taken into custody and charged with murder. I must warn you that anything you say may be taken...
Bickley, you can't charge this man with murder. He's sick. He doesn't know right from wrong.
Molly, why are you lying? What's come over you? I had the wild thought that you killed your husband. But that's not possible, is it? You were here with me, and before that with him. I want you all to listen to me.
Rogers, no. Bickley. Let him go on.
Dr. Graham, please.
Fleming, I want to hear him talk. Go on, Alex.
I did come here last night to stay until the search around this area was called off. And tonight I was going to London to stay undercover for 14 days. Then I'd have to be given another hearing.
14 days? That's part of the old Victorian Act. Go on, Alex.
When I got here, I was cold and wet and desperate. And she was frightened because I was brutal. And this room did something to me. I began to change. It was peaceful and quiet. The fireplace was burning, and the lights were lit. Well, that's when you came here, Dr. Fleming.
You came here, Mark?
Fleming, what were you doing here?
Well, naturally I came here. This is the house he talked about for months. I'm afraid I wasn't a very good detective, was I?
Go on, Alex.
Well, then we began to talk. The way ordinary people do when they first meet and like each other. Personal things. Then I insisted that she sleep down here where I could keep an eye on her. When she came down the stairs, she was beautiful and graceful. And her perfume filled the air. It was warm. We were sheltered from the world outside. And I slept with her, there on that couch.
Mrs. Thomas, I must ask you to deny Forrester's ridiculous accusations.
I'm tired.
I understand. So if you'll just make a simple denial.
The moral aspects of whether or not you slept with Forrester are of no consequence to us. However, if you did, it means he was here last night. And that would invalidate everything you've told us.
I did just as we had arranged. When I heard the siren. And Alex came, just as we planned he would. But he wasn't what I expected him to be. And then I saw Evan. He shouldn't have looked like that. I didn't hate him. I just wanted him gone. And then Alex came. And his innocence, it was heartbreaking. You said he would be a maniac, Mark!
Mrs. Thomas, I know you're under restraint, but we are all here to help you.
He's saner than you are, Mark.
We are trying to find out what happened.
You know what took place. You put that body on the wheel. You said it would drive him berserk the way he was when he found his wife's body.
And you did see the body on the wheel.
I have never heard anything so fantastic in all my life.
By God, I haven't. And it better not be true.
Fleming, had you known Mrs. Thomas before?
Mark knows me. He knows me better than anybody.
I don't know this woman at all.
I loved you, Mark. But it's like a nightmare now.
Stop talking, will you?
I won't stop talking!
Shut up, Molly!
Molly? And you two do know each other. Oh, you've been working on me for a long time. To build my hopes up high so that when the board turned me down, well, I'd be desperate.
I'm not going to listen to this insanity any longer.
You listen to him?
You had to have a desperate man running loose in the woods while you killed Evan Thomas. You not only took advantage of me as my doctor, but as my friend.
Molly, what have you done? You've killed us both.
Take him out, Rogers. We'll be taking you along too, Mrs. Thomas.
Of course. May I get my things?
That won't be necessary, Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas!